Hello everybody and welcome to the first video in a series of videos showing you how to get started in the wonderful world of 3D art, design and animation. So we're going to start by getting the software that you need. And I've chosen to go with Blender. The reason I've chosen to go with Blender is because Blender is completely free, open source, and the file size is very small. So there's very little to get in the way of getting your hands on this software and using it. So let's head on over to www.blender.org. On the homepage, you'll see a big blue button that says Download Blender. Click on that button and it'll take you through to another page. Now, all you've got to worry about is this big blue button that says Download Blender. Make sure that you're downloading it for your operating system. I'm currently using Windows. You can change it to a different type of download by clicking on this little tab. It should by default give you the correct download. So click on the big blue button. That says Download Blender. They'll send you a little thank you and you just say where you want to save it out. I want to save it to my downloads folder. It'll take a few moments to download. And as you can see, it's not very big. It's only 130 megabytes. So all you need to do is double click on the installation file. The installation might be slightly different depending on if you're using Mac or Linux, but generally it shouldn't be too different from what I'm showing you here. So you just follow the installation setup wizard. It'll take a few moments just to install. And then we click finished. And there you go, it is installed. You can then open up the program. Generally on Windows, if you press down the Windows key and type in Blender, it should come up. There we go, now you've got Blender, you can move on to the next part of the video. If you stick around, I'm going to give you a little bit more information on downloading Blender and why there's different versions. You can also download Blender on Steam. So consider, if you're a gamer and you happen to have Steam installed, just get it on Steam. The one benefit to having it on Steam is it's a lot easier to keep it up to date without having to follow the news. So if you do have it on Steam, just scroll down, leave a nice review. And if you're confused as to why people use Blender, just go down and read some of the amazing recommendations. Heading back to the Blender page, on the page where you pick what version of Blender you want to download, you can download the experimental builds, which introduce new features, but the build of Blender will be more unstable. So I wouldn't use it on a big project, but it's nice to play around with some new features. Also, if for whatever reason Blender is not running correctly, you can try download a much older version of Blender just by going up to the top here and clicking on previous versions. Also, something else you might find interesting is at the top here you see demo files. Here you'll have access to a whole lot of interesting demo files showing off different aspects of Blender and seeing how well your PC might handle it. So download Blender, download these files and start playing around. If you found this interesting or useful, please consider donating to my Patreon. If you want to keep following this course, please consider hitting that subscribe button and maybe leaving a like while you're down there.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, every saint and sinner in the history of our species.